You made it through the day. But your body isn't the only thing that's tired. Your mind keeps going. Maybe you've noticed this. The moment everything gets quiet, your thoughts get louder. Conversations replay. Responsibilities stack up again. Things you didn't finish, things you wish you handled differently. They all come back at once. And part of you doesn't know how to turn it off. Because slowing down almost feels unsafe when there's still so much unresolved. So much uncertain. So much sitting quietly beneath the surface waiting for your attention. So you lie there, tired, but not resting. And maybe you've been calling this normal. Just how life is. Just part of being responsible. But it's not. You weren't designed to carry the full weight of today into tomorrow. Not emotionally, not mentally, not spiritually. Rest is not just a physical need. It's a decision, a quiet, intentional moment where you say, I don't have to hold everything right now. Because the truth is, holding on to everything doesn't give you control. It just drains you. God never asked you to stay in a constant state of tension. He never expected you to solve your entire life before you're allowed to sleep. He offers something different. Not pressure, but peace. Not urgency, but alignment. And tonight, you're allowed to step into that. Even if nothing is fully resolved yet. Even if tomorrow still feels uncertain. Even if part of your heart is still carrying questions. You can still rest. Not because everything is fixed, but because you don't have to carry it alone anymore. This moment, right here, this is your invitation to begin letting go. Let's slow this down, because right now, your mind is still holding on to things it doesn't need to carry alone. Maybe you've been trying to sort everything out in your head, replaying the same thoughts, hoping clarity will come if you just think a little longer. But instead, it just loops over and over without resolution. And it's exhausting. So tonight, we're going to do something simple, not complicated, not perfect, just honest. I want you to imagine placing everything that's been sitting in your mind somewhere outside of you. Not to ignore it, but to release it from constant pressure. If you can, grab a piece of paper or open a note on your phone and begin to write. Not neatly, not filtered, just real. Write what's been bothering you, the conversation you keep replaying, the pressure you've been carrying at work, the thing you're trying to control but can't. Let it come out exactly as it is. Because some of these thoughts, they've been living inside you without ever being fully expressed, quietly building weight beneath the surface until everything starts to feel heavier than it actually is. So just write. No one else will read it. You don't need to explain it. You don't even need full sentences. Just get it out. And as you do, notice something. You're not pushing it down anymore. You're not pretending it's fine. You're acknowledging it without letting it consume you. That's where the shift begins. Not in solving everything, but in finally letting yourself be honest about what you're holding. Now take a breath. Look at what you've written, even if it's messy, and gently say this, either out loud or in your heart. I don't have to carry all of this through the night. Just that. Let those words sit with you for a moment. Let them land. Because this is the beginning of release. Not control, not fixing, but letting go, piece by piece. Pause for a second. Just breathe. You've already done something important. You didn't ignore what you're feeling. You faced it. You gave your thoughts somewhere to go instead of letting them stay trapped inside you. That matters more than you think. Because a lot of the exhaustion you feel, it's not just from what happened today. It's from carrying it over and over, without ever putting it down. But now, things are different. You've identified the weight. You've named it. You've taken it out of your head and placed it in front of you. And that means something powerful is now possible. You can choose to release it, not all at once, not perfectly, but intentionally, because awareness is the first step. But release is where peace begins to enter, where your mind starts to loosen its grip and your body slowly remembers what it feels like to be safe again, even if nothing around you has fully changed yet. So here's the shift. So far, you've been holding it. Now, we're gonna start letting it go. Now, let's gently shift your focus, not to ignore what went wrong, but to remember what didn't, because your mind has been trained to hold onto pressure, to highlight what's missing, what's unresolved, what still feels heavy, and after a while, that becomes the only lens you see through. But that's not the full picture. Even today, there were small moments of care, quiet ones, easy to miss. Maybe something didn't go as badly as you expected. Maybe someone showed up, even in a small way. Maybe you made it through something that earlier felt overwhelming. It might not feel big. It might not feel like a breakthrough, but it matters, because gratitude isn't pretending everything is perfect. It's choosing to notice that not everything is broken. So right now, I want you to think of just one thing, not 5, not 10, just one. What is one small thing that went right today? Maybe you've been overlooking it because it didn't fix everything, and part of you has been so focused on what's still missing that even the good moments felt too small to count, too quiet to matter, too easily dismissed. But don't rush past it this time. Sit with it. Let it come into focus. And as you hold that moment, something begins to soften, because your heart starts to realize, I wasn't alone today. Even in the middle of stress, even in the unanswered parts, there was still care, still provision, still presence. And that's where peace begins to return. Not all at once, but gently, quietly. If you can whisper this to yourself, I see the good, even in small things. Let that be enough for tonight. You don't need to force a feeling. Just allow the shift from grievance to gratitude. Now, let's cover your mind with something steady. Because once you've released the weight, you need something to hold you in peace. Otherwise, the thoughts try to come back. And maybe you've felt that before. You try to relax, but your mind quietly reaches for the same worries again, almost like it doesn't know where else to go. So tonight, we give it somewhere else to rest. Not in your fears, but in truth. There's a promise in Psalm 55 verse 22 that says to cast your burden on the Lord, and He will sustain you. Not might, not eventually. He will. And maybe part of you wonders, can I really let this go? Yes, you can. Because sustaining you was never your job alone. There's another promise in Isaiah 26:3. That God will keep in perfect peace the one whose mind is stayed on Him. Not a distracted mind, not a perfect mind, just a willing one, a mind that gently returns again and again, even tonight. So if your thoughts start drifting back, that's okay. You don't need to fight them, just guide them back to this truth. I am being held even now. Say it slowly. I am being held even now. Let that become your anchor, because peace isn't something you force. It's something you receive. And as you sit here, breathing, letting your shoulders drop, letting your thoughts slow, allowing your heart to loosen its grip on everything it was trying to control just a few moments ago. Something begins to settle inside you, not because everything changed, but because you did. You shifted where your mind rests. So tonight, when the silence comes, you're not unprotected. You're covered, held, sustained, watched over, and that changes everything. Before we go any further, pause with me for a moment. I want to gently bring you back to something simple. Not everything, just one thing. What is one thing that went right today? Don't rush past it, and don't overthink it. It doesn't have to be important. It doesn't have to impress anyone. Just real. Maybe it was a quiet moment, a small win, a breath you didn't even realize you needed. And maybe part of you is tempted to dismiss it, because it feels too small compared to everything else, because your mind has been trained to measure value by how much gets fixed instead of how much grace you actually received throughout the day. But stay with it. Let that one moment come into focus again. Hold it just a little longer. Now softly say this. This mattered. Just that. Because when you begin to honor even the smallest good, something shifts inside you. Not loudly, but deeply. Your heart starts to open again. Your mind begins to rest. And without forcing it, you step a little closer to peace. Let's bring everything into a moment of surrender. Not forced, just open. You don't have to find perfect words here. You don't have to sound strong. You just need to be real. God, I'm here at the end of this day, and I'm tired, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, in ways I haven't even fully said out loud yet, in places where I've been holding things together for too long without rest, without release, without knowing where to put all of it. You see it all. The thoughts I wrote down, the things I keep replaying, the weight I've been carrying quietly. I don't want to hold it like this anymore. So right now, I give it to you. The stress, the pressure, the unfinished things, the conversations that didn't sit right. I release it. And I know part of me still wants control. Part of me still wants answers. But tonight, I choose trust, even if it's small, even if it's quiet. I choose to believe that you are working, even when I can't see it yet, even when nothing looks different on the outside, even when my mind tries to pull me back into worry instead of letting me rest. So I let go, not because everything is solved, but because you are still here. Cover this space tonight. My mind, my body, this home. Let peace settle here. Let every room feel lighter. Let every restless thought lose its grip. If anything tries to return, any anxiety, any fear, any heaviness that doesn't belong, gently quiet it. Gently remind my heart that I am not alone in this moment, and I don't have to carry what was never mine to carry through the night. And right now, I receive your peace, your presence, your stillness. Let it go deeper than my thoughts, deeper than my emotions. Let it reach the places in me that are still tense, still holding on. If you can say this softly, I release this day and I receive peace. Again slowly, I release this day and I receive peace. God, stay with me through the night. Guard my rest. Restore what's been drained. And when I wake up, let me feel different, lighter, clearer, steady again. Not because everything changed overnight, but because something shifted inside me. Because I didn't carry it alone. Amen. Just stay here for a moment. Let everything settle. There's nothing left you need to do. Nowhere else you need to go. This is the part where you simply receive. There's a blessing spoken for generations. A covering of peace that was never meant to stay distant, but to rest gently over your life, even in ordinary moments like this, even at the quiet end of a long day when your heart just needs to feel safe again. It comes from Numbers 6:24-26. And tonight, it's for you. The Lord bless you and keep you. Let that land slowly. You are being kept, watched over, not forgotten in the middle of everything you're carrying. Even now, the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you, not distant, not cold, but near with kindness. Presence that doesn't rush you, doesn't pressure you, but stays, gently restoring what the day has taken out of you, quietly bringing your heart back into alignment with peace instead of pressure, with trust instead of tension. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace, not just temporary calm, but real peace, the kind that settles your breathing, the kind that softens your thoughts, the kind that lets your body finally rest. So as you close your eyes tonight, let this be the last thing you hold on to, not the stress, not the unfinished thoughts, but this: you are covered, you are safe to rest, you are allowed to let go. If your mind starts to wander later, come back to this: the Lord is with me, I will rest. Just that, let it guide you back. And as sleep comes, slowly, gently, let it carry you, not into more thinking, but into restoration, because something has shifted tonight. Maybe not everything, but enough. Enough for your heart to feel lighter. Enough for your mind to loosen its grip. Enough for you to wake up, not carrying the same weight. Rest now. Peace is here, and you don't have to earn it.